Hey, you guys, welcome. We are on Sunday night. So, this is going to be this is our final session for this little mini album. Let me get back over to comments. I saw we had Carol Grove earlier. Awesome. So I see two pairs of eyeballs. So I'll give you like a couple seconds to, for all the things to catch up. So, um, yeah, I was talking to Jamie early Friday because we did our Black Friday crop that we've been doing for a long time. And hey, Anna, hi, Cindy, awesome. And I realize if you're watching on Facebook, if you're sharing on Facebook, the video goes away. So Facebook, they're deleting all lives after 30 days. So I'm kind of hesitant to say share it on Facebook because if you do, somebody's going to get a dead link eventually. So, I mean, all the sharing's good and I appreciate it. But just keep that in mind, like Facebook, they're getting worse and worse with the videos, especially. So, mm. All right, so welcome. If you are new here, I am ToniStamps, Tony Tesler, that's me. So this is part 3 and final part. You lost me. Can you not hear me? Or did I disappear? I hope everything's going okay. Like, Cindy, is everything good? Like, can you guys hear me? Because I see a couple pairs of eyeballs. Um, I don't know what you meant by Anna. If you lost me or not. Like, did the signal go out? Because as far as I know, it still looks like everything is good. So let's just like double check that everything's cool. Fine here. Thank you, Carol. Awesome. Okay. So yeah, this is part 3 and the final of my Keeping Traditions mini album. So we're gonna do like the cover. I've added all my inserts into all the little pockets and everything. We're gonna go over some tags, some photo booklets. I'm looking at my notes here because I did finally do a lot of pre-cutting for this one because as I was building it, like, that was just the building, the base of it. Filling it with the papers, I really had to see like what I had left from the different designer papers, the different two-tones. So let's just get into it, okay? So when I left last week, I counted I've got a whole pile of scraps here, but as far as full sheets of 12 by 12 two-tone cardstock, I had 6 pieces left. I had and let's just go down here, right? Let's just go down to the table and we'll get cracking. Um so the two-tone cardstock, I had 2 pieces of white. Oh, actually, here, let's just look at my notes. 1 piece of cherry cobbler, 1 piece of pool party, 1 piece of old olive, 1 piece of secret sea, and 2 pieces of willow white. I did not count the full sheets of designer paper because I should have had most of that. And I have just a few pieces of all this left. So it looks like I've got 1 sheet of willow white, this piece of designer paper that has these lines on it, which is good for journaling and stuff. The plaid, which is secrecy on the back, and then the poinsettias. So that's not bad considering all that I started with. Like I said, I've got most everything cut. So this right here is what I have as far as scraps. Like, not a ton. I mean, there are a few other little bits and pieces, but like I said, save all your scraps as we go because I don't know where we're going to put stuff in. So I want to start with the cover tonight. I know I said I like to do that last, but once I had an idea of all my two-tone, hi Billy, awesome. Once I had an idea of all my 12 by 12 pieces that I had left, I decided on the paper that I want for my cover first, and then I did everything else on the inside. Because this for me was, I wanted to make sure I had this the way I wanted. So let's just go with, I've got real red two-tone. Now I cut it so I've got like a tiny little border around here. And where'd my notes go? So this piece of real red two-tone is 6.5 by 8.5. And then I cut my designer paper down 6.25 by 8.25. So here's what I was thinking. Like, I really like this pattern. And actually I can put this aside because we're just going to work on this part. And I've got a few little trim pieces from the die cuts that I just want to keep in my vision so I don't forget about them, because I want to use up as much of this, all these pieces as I can. So here's what I was thinking. I really wanted to use, at the very beginning, I pulled out this big cluster. Well, this kind of looks crazy with all that, like with this background, it gets lost. But I do want to use this Christmas, and then this sticker, I was going to cut the Merry off. So I want to have Merry Christmas, but I still feel like this is too busy, right? And of course I already cut it, so I can flip it like this, because of course now I don't have any cherry cobbler. This is cherry cobbler on real red. That doesn't look too terrible. I kind of like that. Okay. So I was pawing through like what bits and pieces do I have left. I could kind of tie this in. So this is a part I'm not really convinced. I haven't made up my mind about this. Ooh, I kind of like this. All right, so I have just changed my mind. So we're going to use, I'm just going to glue this down. So I'm going to go with the cherry cobbler side, just because, even when I add the words on here, like, this is just too busy. All right, do we agree? I agree. All right. And let's hope I don't have to refill my glue. So yeah, I made a bunch of tags and photo booklets that we're going to go through, as we go through this album. But I love how it's all come together. All right, so now this, I want to cut this piece. So good thing, save all these scraps. So this is 6.5 wide. So I'm just going to cut this real red two-tone, 6.5 wide. And then I'm going to take this plaid, and actually I'm going to glue this on first, because, with these scallops, like if I can end it on a scallop, or I want it to be even, you know what I mean? Like, see how we've got it on this side, but then over here, it would be a little bit wonky. So let's just even that out. So I'm just gonna do that. And I like the scallops facing up. So I'm just gonna put this down as even as I can. All right, I'm liking that. And it was not perfectly even, but that's okay. Get that glue off of there. I've also got some interesting like flips and stuff that I want to show you, like how to add in. All right, so let's do this. So remember, I've got this giant Christmas sticker. Let's just pull that out. Ooh, okay. So I'm holding this up just because I don't want to stick it down. Oh, okay. I'm going to put this up a little bit. And this is so sticky, I don't really feel the need to put glue. All right, I like that. And I'm going to put that down here. And again, let's just hold this in place, just so I can figure out where I want it. Now, all this stuff, I am gluing flat down. I'm not popping any of this up. You can have stuff pop up if you want. And I don't really want it to go over the edge because, remember, I've got ribbon and doodads to work with. So let's just bring that. So my idea is I'm going to tie ribbons on this side. So I don't really want my flower. This can hang over just a little bit. All right, I'm going to glue this one down. And that can hang over just a smidge, like tiny, tiny little bit. All right. Oh, for cute. And then this can go like here. Yeah, I don't really want to cover up the words. Okay. Yep. All right. So yeah, did not use this kit, this scrapbooking kit, in any way that they intended, but I just wanted all the bits and pieces. And then I had the two-tone cardstock pack that went with it. All right, let's get this down and burnish all this glue. Because again, I don't want anything poking up. All right, now my other sticker. So I'm going to take this Making Mary, and I just want Mary. So I'm going to flip it upside down and cut as straight as I can. So I can have Merry Christmas. And I hope that is straight. Straightish. All right, cool. I love it. Now, I don't really need this because, I mean, look how close I cut that. So that is going in the trash. I love this part. All right, let's get a little bit of glue, more glue, 'cause, you know, I don't want these edges popping up. And we're going to put some gems on it. So the gems I've got, traditional sparkling sequins. These were on back order for quite a while, but I think they're back in stock. But I like them because they're super flat and sparkly. So we're going to let's do a red. And it looks like there's 3 different sizes in here. And then this gold. Oh, cute. And then we'll have some more over here. 1, 2, 3, and then we'll do another one because we've got to have an odd number. Let's put one right there. All right, so we'll go. Let's do a blue one. Blue, red. Let's do a big gold and then a little green, just so I can kind of use like all of them. Ooh, I like that. Really like it. All right, now, before I put these ribbons on, I want to glue this entirely. Like, I don't want any air bubbles or anything on this. So I can try to get my glue like down evenly, but that's really kind of hard. So I'm going to bring in my score tape. Ugh. So I happen to have this big 6-inch wide thing that I got off Amazon. If you have even the 1/4 inch, you would just have to add so much, you know, like our let's see, the Stampin' Up! Tear and Tape. This is a 1/4 inch wide. You would just have to add so much. You could also use the adhesive sheets. All right, the adhesive sheets are thinner. They would work, but I've gotten used to using this 6-inch business. Now, this is 6.5 inches wide, and this is 6 inches. So it's just not going to get the edges, but that's going to be fine. All right, so I'm just going to lay this down. And I'm going to try to get this centered because I am going to add an extra. All right, push this down because again, we don't want any air bubbles. And then just take a blade, like your craft knife. And just be careful because you don't want to cut this two-tone. So my mat is a self-healing from 1,000 years ago. So I'm not too worried about wrecking it. But, you know, you use whatever you have. All right. And then, so let me take my other silicone embossing folder, get all this out. And now I can come in with our 1/4 inch and fill these gaps. Because I really do want edge to edge coverage as close as I can get to it. So I'm getting to the very edge of this real red two-tone. You guys, I am loving this album. I can't even think like what pages or what pictures I'm going to put in it, because I am going to have to do a final count at the end of how many pictures this is going to hold. I think it's going to be over 50. And I did weigh it. So far, I weighed this just like 10 minutes ago before I started. It weighs almost 2 pounds, the album and everything I've got in it. All right. I'm just pressing this down because I saw like an air bubble. All right, this is super sticky. So I'm going to have to stand up because I do not want to mess this up. Once this goes down, like that's it. Now I could put some glue. Actually, let's do a little dry fit so we can see, like, see how teeny tiny of a border that is? But I don't really want to add any glue because then that might add air bubbles. So I'm just going to go for it. All right, I think, ooh. All right, well, it's going down. All right. It wasn't quite as far over to the right as I wanted, but it's down now and it's close enough. All right, so I'm just gonna. So some people like to just do the base, like do the bottom layer, glue it to the album, then glue this one. I kind of like to build the whole piece and then just hope I don't wreck it. All right, more glue. I know that's kind of risky because when you get down, down to this point, you really don't want to mess anything up. But oh my God, I love this. Love it, love it. Okay, so now I want to add some ribbon here. So this album, this middle part, like the spine, so don't forget it's got this little tab in here that you could, I don't know how you get this out, but you could change this or stamp something. I'm not going to bother with anything right now. You could tie ribbons around the middle part, but then you would be going over this label, this plate, and I don't feel like doing that. So what I want to do is just tie them around here. So with the supply list, I've got the Real Red Shiny Ribbon and the Secret Sea Faux Linen. I love both of these. So I'm just going to come around here and pull enough. And I am going to add some extra. Let's just do this. I do want to add some Fabri-Tac and some other tape because I really want this to stay secure. I don't want it flip-flopping all around the place. All right, so let's see. This looks like quite a bit of ribbon, but there's no use in hoarding it, okay? All right, for those that want a measurement, this is approximately, all right, 12, 24, 36. So let's just say 38 inches. Get rid of this blade so I don't cut my finger off. So what I say, 38 inches. I'm just gonna write this down. 38. So just over a yard. 38 inches of ribbons. All right. Now I want my my bow to be like here. So what I kind of do is scooch this in. Let's see, where am I going to tie it? About here. All right. And then oops, got to pull those out. All right, so I want to put tape down here. I'm just holding this in place. Now, however you feel comfortable gluing your ribbon in or attaching it. So I'm going to be using Fabri-Tac and some score tape, just because I like both. All right, so that's going to go. Plus this cover, this is like a fabric wrap on this part. So that's why I'm really kind of being a weirdo about adding extra adhesive to this. All right, let's burnish this down. Burnish, burnish, burnish. I'm going to peel this up. If I can get it. Of course, I cut my fingernails the other night. And now they're down to the skin, the nubs. Not good when you need to pick things up. All right, Fabri-Tac. And I'm just going to squiggle this down. All right, let's do that. And pressing this in place. Now this stuff really has a smell to it and it will want to bleed through. Is that straight? Nope. All right. But it is a good adhesive for your fabric, ribbons, anything like that. All right. Oh yeah, I love that. Okay, I want to make sure I'm going to get this the same. All right, I'm going to put this here. And I'm just going to hold that in place. I'm going to put the Secret C ribbon right up next to the real red shiny ribbon. Again, burnish, burnish, burnish that. And if you had a third color ribbon, hey Lisa, if you had a third color ribbon, use it. Why not? So Lisa, you didn't really miss much. We did the cover, which I am super in love with. And now I'm adding some Fabri-Tac because I'm wrapping this ribbon around our cover, but I don't want it to escape. All right. Now with this faux linen ribbon, this glue, this Fabri-Tac is coming right through the edge, like right through the ribbon. So I do not want this to like touch anything here. So I'm going to let this dry for a bit. Actually, I wish I had wax paper up here because I don't even want to flip this kind of stuff over on it. But we're going to make do. What do I have that is nonstick? Oh, my silicone mat. Okay. All right, you guys, this is going to work. So I'm going to put that there. Okay, that's going to work. All right, so we've got our ribbon. Once that dries, then I'll tie the bow, around there. All right, let's keep that in place. So let's just start going through this, okay? I cut, this was the full sheet protector. I had it in the middle of my album, and I know somebody, hey, Colleen, awesome. I can't believe you're here. Sweet. But somebody had suggested put this on the front, like as your front cover. So I did. I pulled it out of the middle and I put it up front because you only get one of these with no pockets or anything, like with just one big pocket. So I did let the designer paper do all the work for this. So I cut one piece of paper. So we're using both sides. So this is 6 1/8 by 8 1/4. And I will get my blog updated with all the measurements of stuff that we're cutting and using tonight. Okay. So I did that. I added some of these die cut tags. This is a sticker. So my idea is I'm just going to put like one picture here, like one main picture. I did a little sticker down here that says the date because we've got, we had a whole bunch of stickers. So I pulled that one from like right here. So got that. Then the back side, this was a sticker. And then this was another, I don't know if this was a sticker or just a die cut, but I figure I can write something in white on there, like with a white marker. And I can have like 2 pictures here. Okay. So as we start going through, 3x4, we needed 3x4 pieces and 4x6 pieces. So when I told you at the beginning that I had like, 6 pieces of the two-tone cardstock left, I cut my 4x6 pieces first between the two-tone and some of the designer paper. So I'm just going to tell you, you need 19 pieces that are 4x6. And hey, Barb, 19 pieces 4x6 and 34 pieces that are 3x4, because I just wanted to put something in every pocket just so we can visualize something being there. Like maybe I'll take this out and put a 3x4 picture in it that takes up the whole spot. Like, I don't know, but for right now I just want something in there. All right, so 34 3x4 things. Then I just like split them up and just went through and filled all the pockets. All right. And don't forget, both sides of the designer paper. Now here's my first waterfall that I made, right? With the 3x4 flip flaps. So remember I said, oh, we can come in and fill in these parts like this white and cover up the flip flap. So that's what I kind of thought I would do right now. So like this spot is, and I'm just going to do it on this one. There are 2 of them. I want a piece that is 4 1/4 by, looks like 3 3/8. So I want to use this because it's going to tie in with that pattern, how I used it there. And I did not mean to make this red, white, and blue. Like that's just how it landed. All right. So what did I say? 4 1/4 by 3 3/8. 4 1/4 by 3 3/8. All right, I'm just going to scooch that over a little bit. 4 1/4, 3 3/8. And I'm just going to cut this 4 1/4 because I don't want that. 4 1/4, 3 3/8. All right. So little pieces like this, I generally hold on to them till the end. And then if I don't use it, I throw it away. Like you don't have to save every single little piece. All right, so that is going to cover that up nicely. And I want to make sure, oh, I need to trim that down. Because you want to make sure your pockets still fold over. So, so it's not 3 3/8. Let's go 3 1/8. 4 1/4, 3 1/8. All right, that is much better. All right, so let's glue that on. And that's just to cover up that flip flap, like the plastic part. All right, so burnish all this down. And then I'm not gonna bore you with going in and filling these, but I will measure this and go in later and put just a little bit. So I would say 4 1/4 by, I don't know, maybe an inch. And I would cover that and cover that. All right, so put that back. What did I have this here for? Oh, I wasn't sure if I was going to use this piece. So no. All right, so here we've got this whole blank side. So you can put like a whole picture there. We can add some of we still have some die cuts. So I kind of like this pink one. So what I'm looking for is things that we can add, like little tuck spots, or that we can journal on. All right. So this is light enough that you can just write right on it. So we can have it like here and glue it just around those corners so that we can put something, like slide something in. So let's just glue here. And I'm going to get it as close to the edge as I can. Love it. All right. So then, yeah, you could slide in a picture. And you could, attach it, like glue the picture, but at least you can slide it in so you don't have to cover up the flower. All right, so we can do that. I love that. So this was how I added the extra flip flaps so we can have pictures. My intention with these 4x6 pieces is to have a full 4x6 picture in here, like on, 2 pictures. But for right now, like I said, I just wanted to add something in here so you get the idea. Now let me pull this one out. So this is a sticker, and I just want to tell you I messed up. So this flip flap, the sticky part was hanging over a little bit, like right here, and I needed to slide in this piece of, this photo mat. Well, when I came in and cut it, like wasn't paying attention, and I cut right here. So I cut right into the protector. So I had to patch it. So I put a sticker right across it. And then I, decked the halls. That fit. Like, it wasn't what I planned, but you know what? I messed it up. So gotta fix it. Fix it as you go. Now we could add little doodads here, like, I don't know, other little stickers or something. But again, I want to put pictures here, right? So let's just flip this. Love it. Another just 4x6 piece. Now this one, actually, let me show you this. When I got down to the end, I needed one more 3x4 piece, and I did not want to cut into a full sheet, 12x12 sheet, just to get one. So with this, I patched together 2 different pieces. So we've got just a little bit of this pattern hanging out, like, flips over. So do what you have to do to get the right size pieces. All right, and then this, we had these flip up like that. All right, this was our first flip out, like when I added the 4x6 flip flaps. So with this piece, I wanted to cover up this flip flap area. I know you can see this, like it's still shiny in the picture. So I just cut like a big piece of the designer paper. And of course, it's going to depend on what size like page that you make. But since I'm giving you measurements, this one is 6 3/8 by 8. All right. And I'm just going to glue this in. Oh, and you guys, so my Wreaths Across America success, we made it yesterday. Like the final orders went in. People were going directly to my wreath page. And, my goal is to get 100 wreaths sponsored for the Crownsville Cemetery here in Maryland. And we're at 102. And remember, whatever my sales are in November, I'm basically taking 50% of that and buying more wreaths. So I'm not cutting that off until like midnight tonight. So I'm going to have even more. So right now we're at 102 wreaths. So thank you guys so much. Everybody that contributed, got them. Love it. All right. Needed another drinky water. Okay. I like that. Poinsettia and poinsettia. A little busy. So I may use like some smaller pictures on this one. Like I may not want to cover up this entire pattern. Love it. All right, now for this side, I could leave it blank, but I found that this two-tone cardstock, like if I get greasy fingers on it or even just a little bit of glue, like it really shows up. So I just took this leftover bit And it's not covering the whole thing, but I'm going to glue it in anyway. And then we're going to add a strip. So this is like 5.5 by 8. And I want the cherry cobbler, the polka dot side. So again, this is like, use all your pieces. And if you didn't want to cover this up, you don't have to. I just am liking the idea. Use the paper up, you know? That's what we got it for. All right, now this, it would be a great opportunity for one of these edges. I already cut that one. Let's see. I don't really like the idea. Ooh, well, I kind of like that. Okay, because I was thinking I could just add this strip. Yeah, I think I'm going to do that. I'm going to save this. Ooh, decisions. So poinsettia or the green, because like when we get over here, you're going to be able to see some green on this page. So, I don't know. What do you guys think? Green scallop, which actually the scallop does not quite meet. So that's that. We're going to use the poinsettia. So I'm going to cut this at 8, which is just the same as that piece of designer paper. And you guys, it is not a good idea to just set your cutter like on top like this, on top of these binder parts, but I do it all the time. All right, now I could have put glue just on 3 sides of this to make it a little pocket. But right now I'm just trying to, I just want to add it in there. I like that. Now what we can do is take one of these stickers and I like both of these. Actually, I'm going to do this one here because I can go like underneath where that hole, where I cut the holes. Now, if you wanted to make this a tuck spot, you need to like get the sticky off of here. I'm not doing that this time. I'm just going to stick it down because I like that. So I picked this one because it's got some pool party, which ties into over here. Okay, now next page. So I clip this in because I want to show you something neat that we can do. So this was a random piece of pool party. I think this was 5 by 6. Yeah, 5 by 6. This was like a leftover. So I cut a piece of the line paper so we can journal, added a sticker. So I want to add it here with hinges. So I had this clipped in with a paper clip. So you can do that. Have some cute paper clips, add some stuff, whatever you want. But let's just we can add hinges so it will actually flip in. So what I want is, let's see. So this is pool party and old olive. I'm not going to let that bother me though. I'm going to let's look for a scrap of pool party. All right, here we go. So what I want to do is I want to have a hinge here and a hinge here. So you don't want to have just one hinge here because we need this pocket to be able to stay open. Like we still have to get stuff in and out of this. So you can't just put a hinge here, like fold this in half. So we have to piece it. One here, one here. All right, so whatever this scrap is, this looks like it is 1 inch. So I'm going to score this at a 1/2 inch. And this may not make a whole bunch of sense right this sec, but it will in a minute. So let's eyeball. Let's not eyeball. Let's make a little mark in the center. So this is 5. Where's my pencil? Okay. 1/2 of 5 is 2.5. So little pencil mark there. Make sure I'm going on the right side. So I want a hinge. Let's do a 2-inch about. And these don't have to be perfectly straight. All All right, so let's just fold this. Oh, and look at that. It wasn't perfectly straight when I scored it. No matter. All right, so folded edge here is going to go on this edge right here. Folded edge. And I'm just going to put it closer to the top. Because really, I want to keep the middle open. Because again, the middle is right where our pocket starts. So we kind of need to go over that. All right. And then this one, same thing, folded edge over on this side. And again, I'm going to put it close to the bottom. And let's burnish this down. And now I can erase my pencil mark. All right. Now we need to, I want this to go like right here. All right. So yes, it's going to go right over top of this. And that's fine, because I can still put a sticker on here. So we want either like tape, glue is fine, but it's going to take a while to set. So for right now, I just want to use my tear tape. So if you have red line sticky strip, that will work too. Let's just get some there. And you can always add glue. Oh, whoopsie. I didn't mean to rip that. You can always do the tape and the glue. But when you are putting it on this protector, it's just slick, you know. Plastic, liquid adhesive doesn't want to dry that quick. All right, so drag this back in. And I can still see my pencil mark for the middle. So I want to match that up with the middle of this page protector, which is the seam right here. And then I'm just going to glue these, press these hinges down. Okay, nice. All right, let's do a little burnish. So now we can write on this. We can make a little tuck spot, you know, like on here. Let's see, we can add another little something on here. Flowers, no. Oh, you know what? This is what I wanted to do, was add this with the white paper clip that I had. Okay, so let's put this on. And you can put another picture on the back of here if you want. Whatever. But now, I love that. So now look, the hinge does not impede taking things in and out of this pocket because we left this area open. So just, you know, file that away for later if you ever run into a need like that. So I like it. And then that gives us a whole extra space for stuff. So then we have these. Remember, I added an extra flip flap on this side. So more pictures. Here's our pocket. Here's our first photo booklet. So I cut a couple of these 7 by 10, and then I scored it at 5. So these are 5 by 7. And then the designer paper is, I cut that down, 4 3/4 by 6 3/4. So this fits right in this pocket. If you want to tart this up, you know, with any of our other stickers, we can certainly do that. But I feel like I like it like that. So we can have a little journaling something, pictures, picture on the back. So, pizza coma comment. Oh, you're funny. I'm not sure that I want to put like one of these big ones here. I guess that would tie in with the red though. So let's go ahead and do that, because I do want to use up these die cuts. All right. So this one, I like that. Yeah. So I'm going to put glue just right behind here. We had pizza last night. We were ham and turkeyed out. Oh, I like that. I really like this pocket page. All right, now on this side, you could add another designer piece of paper. Like, like I said, I've got like 2 pieces left, but my idea is really, I'm just going to put pictures here. I could also, I've got an extra tag. I could clip this tag in. I've got that for the front pocket though, but so you can leave that blank, add pictures. Then we've got more, so 2 whites, and then this was a one-sided paper, so yeah, it's all white. But again, you're gonna put pictures on stuff. All right, now here's another fun little tag. So remember, I made these pages out of the whiteboard that came in our designer paper. So I started out making a tag. So I had a 4x12 piece of old olive, scored it at 6. Then I decided, oh, I'm just going to glue it up the sides so I can make a pocket. So I've got this pocket. This two-tone is 3x6.5. And then these were 2 separate die cuts from our pack. So here was the one, and then one was on the other sheet. So I just glued them back to back. So you can put pictures on there, you can write on it. All right, let's get that back in here. And that just slides down. So then I thought, oh, fun, let's make a pocket. So I took a piece of designer series paper, and I made it, so this is 4 inches wide. So this was 3.5 tall by 5 inches wide. And I scored at a 1/2 inch on the 3 sides and made this a gusseted pocket. So it goes like the full length. So pocket, pocket, and then I did a tuck spot. So I didn't do anything on the back, but I could. So this, I thought, let's just clip it in, or you could make another hinge, just like we did on this page, right? How you just take a scrap of paper and make a hinge. So we could do that here. And this is 6 inches tall. This is 6 inches tall. So hinge or just clip in. So do you guys want to see me make another hinge? Because I kind of like the hinge. I kind of like, having it like open back up versus a paper clip. But I mean, they both work. Like, hey, Karen, let's just do a hinge, right? So why not? I do like the paper clip, but really to take it on and off all the time. So let's use, what is this piece? This looks good. All right, this is close enough. Doesn't have to be the same exact size. So that is real red. I'm trying to look through my other scraps. I know I've got one that's old olive. No, let's just use the real red. So whatever size this looks like it's about 1.5 inches. That's too many inches. All right, let's make it 1 inch. Yeah, I do like a hinge. 1 inch long, or wide, and however long this is. 5.5, but really, it could be 5.5, could be 6, whatever. All right, so we're scoring it in half. So score at 1/2 inch, and I feel like I'm halfway through, but actually we're not going to take too much longer. All right, so score this. And we want it on this side. So again, this is the side we want to hinge. So we want the folded edge down. And there's no need to miter these corners because it's not the same length as our tag. All right, so I'm just trying to get this in the middle-ish. Nice. burnish this down. And then we'll drag our book back in, and we're just going to glue it. You know, I probably should have done that to where the dark side was on the inside because we're going to see that, but oh well. So you guys do better. Pay attention to the light or dark. All right, now we're just going to put this edge to edge. Since our tag and that page are both 6 inches tall. Nice. And burnish this down. Yeah, I'm probably going to want to cover that up with something because that is going to drive me nuts. But I do like having that tip in. So we've got our pocket with our tag. And then, like I said, we can tuck something in there. Ooh, don't forget we've got all of these 3x4. Cute, cute, cute. That could go there, and I could have something in there. More picture there, picture here, journaling card, like whatever. Same thing on the back. We could add something here, maybe a pocket, so that we could put some more stuff in. I'm going to leave it so we can get through. I guess we're about halfway through. All right. So now this was a page that I added 4 flip flaps, top and bottom. So all I did was just put 4x6 pieces in here. And again, you know, these may be pictures later. If you wanted to cover this up, because, you know, again, if you don't want to see these adhesives, like we can do that. Actually, I've got a piece of this plaid that might work. I might come back in and do that later. So just to cover that up. But if you don't care about covering it up, don't worry about it. You could also just add some of these scallops or some of these little scraps. Something like that, all right? But I'm not going to worry about it for right now. Same thing on this side. So I just put 2 different patterns on here, 4x6. Again, if we want to cover these up, cover them up. All right, I feel like, yep, sliding back and forth so we can just see. So more, I layered this one. So this was the edge of that one-sided paper. So actually I like it better like that. So I didn't doll up, you know, I didn't layer all of the 2-tone cardstocks. I love it. Because really, I think, you know, we're going to have pictures here, so we don't need to cover it all up. Our next waterfall, same thing as the one I did at the front of the book. If I want to cover up this, I'll just, you know, add a piece of designer paper, like whatever scraps I have, which the scraps are getting slim pickings, but that's good. So yeah, I could still add that. I like that. And then backside, if we wanted to do anything with that. Papers, our next pocket page. And again, this is a photo booklet. So this one was the willow white, and I just added a sticker and some of the gems. We could have something else here. We've got all these stickers that we can use. All is calm, all is bright. Kind of want something right down here in the middle because we've got something here, something there. All right. Pocket. Again, we could put a page on this one. Our extra flip flap that we added. And then I had to go back and use some of the 4x6 photo mats because I ran out of 4x6 pieces. All right, now this page. So this one, I added a little scallopy edge and I just glued 3 sides. So this is a tiny, tiny little tuck spot. So with the scallop, it's kind of tricky to get all the bits under the scallop, but I like it. So same concept as the other thing, like 4x6. Well, I started out 4x12 piece of pool party. This time I glued it on these 2 sides. So now I've got a horizontal pocket. So then I've got this piece, and this was just a scrap. Where's my ruler? This is like 3.5 inches tall by 11 inches wide. So scored at 5.5. Now this piece, it would have fallen like down in this pocket. So I just added the flowers, and then this was a little piece of the designer paper, just so we have something to pull it up by, and then it kind of goes. This strip right here was meant as a like a belly band, but it's so loose. I didn't want to put this. This was just a die cut. I didn't want to put this in there because I feel like it's going to fall through. So that's why I stuck this one right up here. And I like that. But yeah. So another little, using just a little strip as a tuck spot. And I can still have a picture up top, even behind there. So just cute, cute, cute. More little elements to add. More pictures. Then we had a tip in flip on this page. So again, if you want to cover this up, actually this might be a good cover up because that ties in with the green. All right, yeah, let's just do that because I can cut this right here straight, and I'm not going to make this a tuck. I'm just going to glue this flat and cover up that adhesive. And this goes right top to bottom. I like that. Let's get that burnished down. Oh yeah, I really like that because that ties in with that green and then the old olive over here. Now this little scrap, like you can take these die cuts and did I make this a tuck spot? I can't remember. Barely. But just glue a little bit of something on here. You can write on this one. You can add a little picture, like whatever you want. Again, designer series paper, our 4x6 flaps. More. We can do something with this too. I left it blank, but again, we can just add we can do another flip. You can add just pictures to the back. More flip flops to give us even more, or flip flaps, not flip flops. More space for pictures. And then we've got our back pocket. This was a tag. This was another 4x12 piece that I just folded in half and glued it together. So the two-tone cardstock, it really is thinner than like regular cardstock. Like I know I've said that before. I wanted this tag to be a little bit sturdier. So that's why I glued some of these just flat. And that's going to go right in our pocket. And if I wanted to add, I could do it that way too. If I wanted to add something else, oh, you know what? Here's a little sticker. I could do this. That would kind of tie it in with this flower. Then this tuck spot, I can still have some. So I love it. Now let's go to the very beginning again because I want to see if this is mostly dry. Yep. All right, now I may come in and add, I'm not liking how this adhesive, the Fabri-Tac is showing through here. I may come in and add another piece of paper over top of that. But for the front here, I had this booklet. And again, Secrecy, this was 7x10, scored it at 5. And then I took this journaling bit and just glued it 2 sides so we can have a little tuck spot. All right, so we can put that in our pocket. Another tag. Again, this was doubled up, 4x12. And then I added some ribbon at the top. So I can put this in here. I love it. Now, you guys, this is like as full as, it's still going to get full as we add pictures. But look, it is pretty thick and sturdy. So like I said, almost 2 pounds. I love it. All right, let me tie these because this was our front cover. I kind of wanted to tie these together. Let's see if that's going to work out, because I want to tie it nice. Ooh, I like that. I like where that's going. All right, so I'm going to tie this in a knot first. This is when I wish I had like an extra set of hands, but I'm going to make it work. All right, pull this tight. Okay. Ooh, nice. Now, I wonder if I can tie these both, like if I can get 2 bows out of here. This might be a weird bow situation. Okay, I kind of like that with a double bow. Looks a little bit, it's going to take some getting used to. But if I didn't like it, I could just do, like have it in a knot, like not have the bows. But I like it. There's the other piece of blue. And of course, that's right over our Mary. So I'm going to have to mess with this some more. But yeah, I like how this turned out. Let me just trim these edges a little bit so they're not so crazy. All right. So not bad for our final album. Now, one thing I said, we were going to be using all these number stickers. So, oh, hey, Sandy. I did not put them because I don't know which pictures, right? But I want you to know you can stick these stickers right onto your page protectors. Okay, so I mean, let's just start. I can put one here, and I want to space them evenly out between all my all my pages. So I'm just gonna have to go through later, and because they only go up to 24. But that's what I want you to keep in mind is definitely use these. If you want to use the numbers like for an advent calendar or something later, then do it. All right, but I'm just gonna stick them directly onto my page protectors. And then some of these other stickers, like I can go back and I really used up most everything. All right, there's like one more flower die cut, big one, a couple little ones, one more journaling bit. Oh, you know what? Christmas joy. Let's put this, because this front pocket is kind of boring. Let's make this, ooh, I like that. I'm going to glue this just on the bottom and up the sides a tiny little bit so that this can be a pocket. Ugh. Yeah, let's go right in the middle. No, let's go over here. Like right in the middle would kind of drive me crazy. But then we can have another little, like here's just a little scrap of something. Let me just hold these in place. See this glue? I don't know if you can see it, but once it gets on these die cuts, like it really shows up, and that drives me crazy. But yeah, a good little tuck spot. And actually, I'm gonna glue, add it right to the edge here. All right. So yeah, all the pieces and parts that we used are in the description. Like I used an album, a set of the protectors, the workshop kit, the 2-tone cardstock pack, the gems, the ribbons. I just really wanted to make an album and use that scrapbooking kit, but not as they planned. So this whole scrapbooking kit, the plan is to make like 3 12 by 12 2-page layouts. So you get 6 pages, 6 12 by 12 pages out of it. Or you can, add all this. Oh, Sandy, did you you enjoy your up lessons and video are awesome. Awesome. There is like money. Did you send me something? That's crazy. I appreciate it. I've never seen that before though. Interesting. So I will do a a video later tonight or maybe tomorrow of like a flip through, like just so you can see from start to finish, like all the pages, and I'll, say like, what I did. Well, actually, I'm not just going to go through all of it. I'll just flip through like this page, all that. So actually, I don't like that ribbon going right over my Mary. I might have to tack that down. Yeah, so Lisa, with your tweezers, does that really hold it sturdy enough for you to like tie your knots? That's the only thing I worry about. Is having enough like strength to keep it. But okay. Yeah, I'm gonna mess with this a little bit longer. So that's that. That's our 6x8 album. I really love it. And yeah, as I go through, I'm gonna count like how many pictures, but I am guessing it is over 50 pictures. Oh, thanks, Sandy. Awesome. I appreciate you. I mean, I appreciate all of you watching and sharing. That is awesome. So yeah, thank you guys for hanging out and making this album with me. And I mean, just so you have the idea, like you could take any of the scrapbooking kits and cut it up different, make different pages, like do the whole thing. So ideas. I will tell you, Thursday, like thinking ahead to Thursday, Sharon LaCroix sent me a link to a card and said, can you please figure out these measurements? And it's really cute. I said, of course I will. It's 3 presents, and then the instructions were in not in English. So it was in like centimeters or millimeters or something, like the metric system. Wah, wah, wah. Thanks, Barb. Um, so I'm gonna do that. So it'll be a Christmas card. We'll probably do one Christmas card and a birthday card, because you can have a stack of presents, like birthday presents, or a stack of Christmas presents. Um, Lisa, what does my shirt say? It says it is a Hallmark channel and coffee kind of day. So this morning I had brunch and a cookie exchange with a group of girls like that I play pool with. So that was fun. That was neat. And I made double chocolate cranberry cookies. And you guys, I'll post the PDF because I posted it to the group that she had for it. They turned out really good. I like them. The cranberries, like I used craisins, but you couldn't really taste them so much over all the chocolate because you use cocoa. So they look brown, double chocolate. So there's cocoa in the batter, and then there's like chocolate chips in it too. But they turned out really good. So I will share that recipe with you guys. But yeah, everybody had to wear like Christmas stuff. They wanted you to wear Christmas or, whatever. So, and then my pants have ugly sweaters on them. All right. So thanks again for hanging out, you guys. You made it for all 3 sessions. I really appreciate it. And let me know, like, did you really like this? Do you want something else? Like, I can't do this all the time, but I would think once or twice a year I could do something. I really love these album sizes, and I really do like making the book. So this was different to actually use the album, the pre-made album, but yeah. So anywho, thanks you guys for hanging out. Appreciate it. Glad you love it. And I'll see you Thursday. Okay. And yeah, December's tomorrow. Crazy. All right. Ooh, and I gotta get ready. I gotta make my week 10 cards for my 12 weeks of Christmas. So I better do that before Gail comes on. I have 50 minutes. Okay. Thanks, you guys. Bye.